Yeah, welcome back. I'm Danny Kelly, and this is the last part. I can't believe, extraordinarily, it's the last part of tonight's edition of My Sporting Life with the current Leeds United manager, Neil Warnock. OK, Neil, let's talk to somebody who's watched your managerial career. Indeed, I'm sure came up against you many, many times. Joining us, and therefore forgive us for the wind, if you like, joining us from a golf course in Ireland, which are always windy this time of year. I'd like to say we're joined by Mick McCarthy. Hello, Mick.
Hi, lads. How you doing?
Hi, Mick.
Very good. So,
How are you, lads?
All right, pal, thanks.
Mick, I think it's fair to say that everybody in the game over the last 30 years has an opinion, and usually a very strong opinion, about Neil Warnock. What have you made his career as a manager? What have you made of it?
It's my opinion, not one I can share on air. You realise that, don't you?
Try your best, Mick.
Well, I played with him. As he tells everybody, I used to clean his boots at Barnsley, but then I used to clean everybody's boots, the toilets, sweep the terraces, divvy the pitch, because that's what we did. But, yeah, I've known him since I was about 16, and always got on well with him. Great. Played with him in the reserves when we used to grace the North and Midland League together.
What kind of a player was he, Mick?
Oh, useless. No, it was that always makes me laugh when his teams are so robust and want to go around tackling people, and it was anything but like that. So I remember he was a bit of a silky winger. Is that right, Warnie? What? I've got you wrong.
I think it's about right, that, yeah, just about right.
Although he has told us a story, Mick, that once he won Player of the Year at Hartlepool because he played an important game with a broken ankle and a busted spleen. So it couldn't have been that much of a will-o'-the-wisp, I guess it's fair to say. What about as a manager, when you come up against him, what do you expect from Neil Warnock's teams, Mick?
Well, can I tell you, his claim to fame as Player of the Year at Hartlepool with a busted spleen and a broken ankle, I think he keeps that one quiet. I think he's done better as a manager, to be quite honest.
That is fair. That's very fair, isn't it?
No, his teams are, well, what's his record? How many promotions, Neil? 7, is it?
It is, yeah.
That's not a bad guess, is it? I've been reading Wikipedia, don't like that. I just kind of... So that tells you the story itself. He's just a terrific managerial career and seems to be ripping it up at Leeds and all at the moment, so which I'm glad about because it's my team, so well done, pal. If
you go to Wikipedia, Mick, you'll see it. Believe me, it's quite extraordinary. Under the heading of disputes, under Neil's name, they've had to subdivide it in disputes with players, disputes with managers, disputes with the FA, disputes with chairmen. Why does he get into so many disputes, do you think?
Because he does it on purpose. He tries to wind people up on the sidelines. He's just the way he is, and he gets his teams playing that way. But he has that happy, old-fashioned knack of winning games. And I have to say, there's only once did I ever nearly rise to his bait.
Go on.
You might not know that, Warning, but there was once at Millwall, and Taff was going to kill you for some reason. I can't remember what. Something you'd said. And there was once at Bramall Lane, and I said to Taff, I'm not going to rise to anything he says tonight. And I lasted 85 minutes.
Oh!
I was just going to get up out of the dugout and have it with you, and Taff would stay where you are. Leave it. So, but that's part of the gig. I love all that caper, so that doesn't bother me at all. I love it. I think it's just what you are, and I take everybody for what they are. And it's great. It's been amazing for a long time.
Well, Mick, I can hear the hurricane starting to blow there, and I'm sure you've got a very difficult third shot now. So let's just say,
I can't find it, mate. That's how difficult it is. I'm looking all over the place.
Well, we'll give you the chance to go and find the ball. Thank you very much for joining us, Mick.
Pleasure, all the best.
Cheers, mate. Thank you, mate.
As I say, thanks to Mick McCarthy for joining us there from that golf course in Ireland. Neil, when you finished at Queen's Park Rangers, were you tempted there's been plenty of photographs of you in the newspaper over the years, sat on your tractor in Cornwall. Were you tempted to retire down to Cornwall, or what made you take one more challenge on?
Well, once again, Danny, it was the wrong way to finish, really. I mean, Sheffield United, I wanted to keep them up and then leave, and Crystal Palace wasn't the right way when Simon went into administration. QPR was a fabulous occasion, but I didn't want to leave on by getting the sack. So it was a weird thing, really. And I thought, right, my oldest son James was up in Leeds with a new grandson. He was saying, Dad, please come up to Leeds. They need you up here and all that sort of thing. They were looking for a manager, and it just went on from that. And I thought, right, We're going to retire down to Cornwall. My tractor, by the way, Danny, I haven't got a farm. I'm sorry to disillusion everybody.
Where'd you get that tractor from then?
I've just got a lovely 1959, I think it is, little tractor, and I love going in the fields. I have got a few acres, and I go in the fields and cut the nettles and things, and that's all I do. I haven't. Anybody think I've got 40, 50 cows?
So it's not like Ken Bates's farm then, the size of Guernsey.
No, it's nothing like that at all. It's just a lovely part of the country, and I will go back down there and sit on my Massey Ferguson at some stage.
So 20 years after Ken Bates first tried to tempt you to Chelsea, here you are with him at Leeds.
I know. I mean, I spoke to him. I actually went to speak to Wolves. I spoke to Jez and Steve Morgan, and I was right impressed with them. So I had a really good meeting with them. But, you know, quite rightly, they wanted to speak to another few people before making a decision. And I felt once they'd had 2 or 3 hours with me, if I weren't the right one, then...
Well, at least they know what they're getting with you by now, Neil, don't they? Let's be honest.
And Ken Bates just said, I don't want to interview you, just come and be my manager sort of thing. So, you know, I went, and with James being there, my oldest, and I felt it was good to spend a bit of time with him, and it was, you know, it is a massive club. I didn't realise how big a club it is, I have to say that. I didn't.
Well, you're a Sheffield United fan, you've got no regard for Leeds.
I know, and the number of people that, like I said about the QPR and Palace, where they've said, well, we never wanted you, we never thought we'd have you as a manager. But it's once again, it's been great to change the face of the club and get the fans where they are, and you know I've got a genuine bunch of players now, and I think the fans relate to that.
I mean, you mentioned Leeds and the size of the club. I think they're, and I hope I'm not disrespecting too much any other club. They're by far and away now the biggest club outside of the Premier League, aren't they? Which brings its own pressures, Neil.
Oh, it does. I mean, I never, like I said, I've always thought it was a big club, but the training grounds must be in the top 6 of the country. And when you look at the fan base, you know, we got. I think it was 18,000 in the first round of the Cup, or 21,000 against Oxford. You know, I mean, it's unheard of. They're absolutely fanatics, and everybody's a Leeds fan in Leeds. There's no, you know, you can't go anywhere and without seeing a Leeds fan. And I think they get shocked when I'm pushing my trolley around Marks and Spencer's or Morrison's, and they have to look twice. And is it him? And you know, I think, well, I'm only an ordinary guy. I'm doing my shopping.
I mean, here at TalkSport we get a lot of correspondence and phone calls from Leeds fans who think that you're doing the job with one arm tied behind your back because they fear that the best players, I mean, we've seen the shift of virtually the whole midfield to Norwich in the past 12 or 18 months, that they fear that the club just hasn't got the financial clout anymore to do what's necessary to get out of the Championship.
Well, I think there's ongoing talks as we talk now regarding, you know, but we've been talks more or less since I came to the club, and and I think everybody knows that I'd love to have spent a bit more money and got 4 or 5 more players in, but we're in a good situation at the minute. That we've got for one reason or another. We've got a couple of young lads that's come in that wouldn't have had a chance if I'd have bought players, and they've took their opportunity. And we've got some seasoned pros, and we've got the crowd on board now. And you know, we had a great night against Everton. Eddie Gray said it was just like going back in time when we beat Everton. The atmosphere that night, the rain lashing down. You know, it's one of those clubs, and at the slightest bit of success, Danny, there'll be over 30,000 there. Make no mistake. I mean, how many clubs can say that about you? It's got everything, and that's why I don't understand why the takeovers and that they don't come in quicker, because it's such a massive club.
And you know, we all know how difficult the Championship is, but we also know that you are a proven master of getting teams promoted. Can it be this year?
Oh yeah, it's possible. I mean, anything's possible. At the moment, the squad's not really deep enough, if I'm honest. I mean, we've had 7 injuries and overcome that with one thing or another, and we're still not far away. So anything's possible. It's just that when you look at your bench, when we played Cardiff, they brought Craig Bellamy on, who won the game. When we played Blackpool, we were winning. They brought Matt Phillips on and another couple. You know, we haven't got that depth. And in the Championship, you're going to need 5 or 6 good players as backup, as well as the 11 that started. And so that's where we're short, just in the numbers in the squad. But when you've got a crowd like we've got, and you know, and the chairman, I get on all right with the chairman. I know the fans, you know, have been having a go at him over the last sort of 12 months, but I just take him as I find him, really, and I've always got on all right. And if he makes the right decision now, and we get that financial support, then anything's possible with this club.
Well, Neil, it's been an extraordinary and occasionally bumpy ride so far. Of course, lots and lots of success as well. We have only a minute or so left on the programme tonight. Taking Leeds United into account as well as your personal life, what are your hopes for the future? For the rest of your time with us, Neil.
I just want good health, really, good health and happiness. And I think there is a time to call it a day. I'm not far away from retirement, and I want to hope that I have a few years of living right and being able to go and look at different parts of Cornwall, seeing William play football and Amy play hockey, etc. My oldest kids, Natalie and James. I've got a grandkid now. It's a marvellous time, really. And now, when you do get to retirement age now, it's not like when I was a kid, where you're more or less you're expected to put in a home and you've gone. Well, now I think when you get to 60 odd, you start living. I mean, the things that you do now when you're my age, it's not like the olden days. You've got your health, and if you look after yourself, you can go and enjoy yourself. And there's a lot of things I want to do.
But Neil, it strikes me that if you got Leeds United into the Premier League, I don't think you'd be able to resist one last crack at the upper level of English football. I'm sorry.
Well, you'll have to wait and see, Danny, won't you? Let's cross out one bridge at a time.
Well, if I see you on a Premier League touchline any time in the near future, I'll remind you of this conversation where you're suddenly waddling around some village in Cornwall on your tractor. I don't think it's very likely. Listen, Neil, it's been an absolute pleasure and delight, but I'm afraid time has beaten us, and that's it for this edition of My Sporting Life with Neil Warnock. Thanks to Mick McCarthy in particular for trying to put some of this stuff into perspective, and thanks